innovations grounded in human needs. So anytime you think about human-centered design, that's exactly what we are talking about, a user-first mindset, being customer-centric. All right, we can scroll down. All right, so it's just about coming up with solutions that are practical. So I think we are just encouraging everyone to get involved in what we are doing, get involved. As for students, you get opportunities to participate in workshops, hackathons, live projects, and there are so many interesting things that will come up for you. And Bongo Hive is actually very good at this. They'll come up with exciting projects for you. And when it comes to industry partners, it's just a way of collaborating on problem-solving projects, mentorship, co-creation, right? Even supporting startups. Why are we saying this? All we are saying is we are going to contribute to building human-centered solutions for Zambia's challenges. And I'm emphasizing again to just say, not only the problems we are having in Zambia, but even those that are being faced globally, but we should start at home to make sure that we solve the problems that we are having. All right, thank you. And I'm excited. I look forward to having more of you on this program. So over to you, Cynthia. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, and I hope that was clear. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If we have any questions, we can just post them in the chat. We'll get to a Q&A at the end of the session and we'll be able to answer your questions. Thank you so much for the insightful presentation. I will now invite Doris to just talk about how we apply these principles in our work at Bongo Hive. And then from there, we'll get to me. Unfortunately, our guest speaker couldn't make it. Last minute emergency. So we'll have Doris just speak to how we apply the principles here at Bongo Hive.
All right, thank you so much, Cynthia. Please just confirm you're able to hear me clearly and loud enough.
Just confirm with light thumbs. I can hear you clearly, Doris.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lombe. I will proceed. So again, just some housekeeping. If you have a question, please, there's a Q&A function just at the bottom there. You can post your question there so that we leave the chat for any other business in case there's a specific question that needs to be addressed from any of the panelists. So I do not have a presentation, but I'll quickly run you through how Bongo Hive, we use human-centered design to solve problems both internally and as well as helping other organizations, startups also solve their problems. So internally, we do also run our internal sprints just to identify some of the gaps that need some enhancement and refinement in terms of processes as well as systems. So we also go through this rigorous process of empathizing with ourselves, which departments need some form of systems to be changed, and we process. And again, when it comes to founders, as well as, okay, my internet is a little unstable. Just confirm that I am audible and clear. Okay. Cynthia, can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, apologies for that. My internet is a little bit unstable, but I'll try my best to be as clear as I can. So I was mentioning that when working with organizations as well as startups, we try to ensure not to use assumptions to what the needs actually are, in as much as the startups are solving problems, or rather organizations are solving for problems for their clients. As we are helping them as well, we need to understand them at what particular point they are at in their business. So the team now then conducts some form of interviews just to understand what their business is about and the goals and what some of the challenges they face. And that gives us a clear roadmap in how we're going to structure our projects, or and how we can help them. So through that, we also try to take into account some deep immersion. For instance, when we're working with corporates, we just don't look at what their spreadsheets are, but in that aspect, we go into the market and help them with user research, talking to their customers, and just getting feedback, because feedback is what will help us now help the banks or the corporates to solve those problems or challenges that they may be facing. And lastly, I will talk about the importance of co-creation. So in everything that we are doing, facilitating sessions, and where the problem owners, which are the organizations, we sit in one room and just try to understand what the challenges could be. And the insights that we gather from those sessions will help us now translate that into a full design sprint, where now the organizations will begin to look for opportunities from the challenges that they do face. So with that short overview of how we use HCD internally as Bongo Hive, and when helping our startups and organization, I will end here and hand the floor back to Cynthia. Cynthia, over to you.
Thank you so much, Doris, for that insightful overview of how we apply HCD at Bongo Hive. I hope that is something that was clear for everybody. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll be able to respond to those questions once we are done with the presentation, and then from there, so I will just take over from here and just share the overall overview of the applied HCD, the practitioners program, and then the logistics that come with it, the payment requirements, and then we'll come to the Q&A. So the applied HCD is these are principles that actually help you shift from instead of concentrating on the ideas that you're coming up with, you basically concentrate on what challenges you're trying to solve. Okay, so you concentrate on trying to identify what challenges you're trying to solve, what problems are people actually facing, instead of like, I'm pretty sure most of us can relate. We always have this point where we come up with different ideas. You're just seated and you just think about something and you envision how it's going to work out. You envision how you are going to implement it. You envision all these things. You even envision your audience, but you don't at any point involve them in how you come up, in how you proceed in evolving this particular idea. So these principles help you identify problems before you actually implement any ideas that you come up with. So throughout the course, you learn how to find real user, how to identify problems that help you build solutions that actually work, and also build a transferable superpower. So you develop your thinking approach, right, becomes very different when you have these skills. When you learn about HCD, your thinking approach becomes different because you get to know what you need to consider as you approach solving problems, as you approach trying to understand your users, or trying to understand just what you are trying to achieve. You'll be able to apply a different thinking approach. And then you also learn how to de-risk. So because you're able to understand the problem that you're solving, you'll be able to, you learn how to de-risk, you learn how to not invest your resources into something that might not work. We've had a number of some individuals that would come up with a business idea, right? I would say maybe I want to start making baking cakes, and I envision how I'm going to start selling these cakes, at what price, and the audience that's going to be buying these cakes. But I'm not even sure if that is something that people could be in my community need. I'm not even sure if that is something that people need. And due to that, I might invest a number of resources in what I'm envisioning without actually knowing whether it's going to work out or not. And in most cases, you find that you invest and things don't work out and you waste resources. So you learn how to identify those, whether the idea you're working on is going to work at an early stage. And this is through prototyping. You learn the different types of prototyping and testing what you are coming up with before you actually invest in it. So what you master throughout the course, the Human-Centered Design Practitioners Program course, you develop an empathetic mindset, like I mentioned. You get to understand your users deeply, and then you try to understand their needs before you have to build something that solves that particular challenge. This helps you identify the problem that you're solving for. And then you learn how to rapidly prototype as well, the different types of prototypes, how to build and test ideas. You learn these principles. You get to develop an HCD toolkit, the different frameworks that you could apply. As you come up with those particular ideas, as you validate, you learn how to communicate value as well throughout the course. So with regards to the course details, so this is a 5-week program. It's a 5-week program of which per week you get to have 2 sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a hybrid kind of format where some sessions will be online, and mostly Tuesday sessions will be scheduled to be online, and then we'll do have physical sessions that will be in person at Bongo Hive. You get to come to the space and we get to interact in person. So it's both online and physical, and the time allocated for this session is 1 hour 30 minutes from 16 to 17:30 Central African time. And for the hybrid format, for those that are in Lusaka, this is very strict. For those that are within Lusaka, if you enroll into this course, you have to attend the physical classes, and then the online ones as well will be scheduled. But if you're outside Lusaka, you are welcome to join us as well. A link will be provided for you to just accommodate you so that you could be with us online. During these 5 weeks, your learning journey, this is basically just an outline of a high-level outline of how your learning journey is going to look like. So in the first week, you get to be introduced to HCD and the LEAP framework. So you basically learn the core ideas of the core principles of HCD and the LEAP framework. And then in the second week, you get to learn the LEAP framework in details. So each week has got each phase, of which the second week you get to learn about the locate phase. This is where you learn where you develop the empathetic mindset. And then in week 3, you get to learn how to evaluate. So upon identifying or learning the empathetic mindset, where you get to learn user research, smart research, you get to learn how to identify problems that you would want to solve. In the evaluation stage, you get to identify the focus areas, what ideas can be implemented for those problems for those challenges that you've identified, what kinds of ideas would be implemented, and how do you evaluate what ideas can work and what ideas cannot work. So you learn all these principles throughout the course. And then we have, in week 4, we have action plan. So this is where you learn the different types of prototypes, how to turn that idea into something that your users you can test with your users, whether or not it's something that it's going to work for them. Once you've identified them in the first phase, you evaluate that idea, you build it and and test it with them, and you learn how to refine, how to collect feedback, how to refine. You get to learn all those principles in the action plan. And then we have progress, where you learn how to communicate value for what you're working on. And this is applicable not only in businesses. It could be if you're working in a company, you want to communicate something to, it could be your boss, or you are the boss, you want to communicate something to your employees. You have to ensure these principles help you actually create an environment that is user-friendly, and ensure that the systems that you're creating are working for the people you're building for. So program highlights, after the 5-week learning journey, we'll have a certification ceremony. So we'll always have an event at the end of the program where we bring in the different experts that have applied these principles, just so you could interact with them. And then we'll also have an official certification ceremony. So you get a certificate at the end of the program. That will have both Bongo Hive and the University of Lusaka. And then you also get to network with the different experts. And then in terms of the enrollment and commitment details, so it's very important that you commit to the entire 5-week. Once you enroll, it's important that you commit to the entire 5-week, because these phases are a build-up of the previous one. So the moment you miss one phase, you sort of like lose yourself. So it's important that you commit to the whole 5-week to ensure that you understand the entire frameworks. And then also, we do have the different prices that I'll share in the next slide. We do have the early bird special that will require a 50% deposit, and then we'll also have a standard price that I'll share in the next slide. And then overall, the balances are required to be paid by the 31st of March. So with regards to the pricing for the course, once you enroll for this course, the Applied Human-Centered Design, the Practitioners Program, and for you to go through that learning journey, these are the prices that these are the prices that cover the course. So we have the early bird special. This is the 50% discount that we're currently offering, going at 3,500 kwacha. So once you enroll and you prefer paying the 50% discount, or rather you choose the early bird special, you have to ensure you make a 50% deposit by the 6th of March. After the 6th of March, you'll be required to pay the standard rate of 7,000. So that the 7,000 is the standard rate, of which you're also required to pay a 50% discount by the 13th of March. So ensuring that you secure the early bird special, once you enroll, you make that 50% deposit by the 6th of March, you will then secure the early bird special. So the applications were opened last year in December, and we plan on closing the applications on 27th of February. So you have to ensure that you secure your spot, especially for the early bird, before the 27th of February, for you to actually enroll into the course. And then how to apply for this course. So I will just run you through the application process, and then so just a moment, let me share this tab. Once you click on the application process, it will lead you to this page. I think I'm signed in. Let me just sign out. Yeah. So it will lead you to this page. Once you click on the apply button, it could be on our website or on our social media platforms, it will lead you to this page. If you've never interacted with this page, you are required to create an account. So you basically go and create account. You put in your name, you put in your email address, your valid email address, and then you create your password. And once you confirm that password, you create that account. And then when you create the account, you then sign in. Once you sign in, because I already created an account, I will just show you what that looks like. Yeah, so once you sign in, it will take you direct to the application form. So you just scroll down, you'll see where you need to put in your details, your full name, your occupation, if you're a student, if you're working, you basically indicate that. You put a valid email, because this email is very important, especially that for online classes, we'll be using Google Meet. So we'll be using your email addresses to send the invites. So putting in the valid email is very important. And then you put in your phone number, the institution you're working for. If you own a business, you put a business name. If you don't have either, you could just put non-applicable. If you have any, this is the address where you're applying from. If it's in the Copper Belt, you basically put Copper Belt Ndola. If it's in Lusaka, you put Lusaka and the place you're staying at. And then industry, so if you're in school studying, what industry are you in? If it's a company, organization you're working for, but if none of these apply to you, could just put non-applicable, don't leave it blank because it's a requirement. And then if you own a business, again, you can link your company profile, your company social media links, your business social media links into this one, but it's also optional for those that don't have the links to put there. And then innovation growth areas. So if you have any priorities in terms of innovation growth areas, you could put there, but that's also optional. But it would be great to see what you're prioritizing, because that also helps us help you. And then with regards to the program format, like I mentioned, we'll be having Tuesdays online sessions using Google Meet, and then Thursdays will be physical sessions here at Bongo Hive. And then the time allocation, so you just click there, 16 to 17:30. And then with regards to pricing, so if you are going for the early bird special, you have to indicate there you're going for the early bird special, because once you submit this, a quote will be sent to you where you'll be required to pay the 50% so that you secure the early bird special by the 6th of March. And then this is where you hit about the program from. If it was Bongo Hive social media platforms, you just indicate there. If it was Unilas social media platforms, you just indicate there. If it's others, like the way you've heard it, if it's your first time hearing about the course through this information session, you just indicate to say live information session there. You could click others and then indicate. And then if it was a referral, you indicate the person who referred, you indicate their name there. It would be important to know. And then these are basically just declarations and submissions. So you have to confirm that you commit to the full program, because that's important. And then payment understanding, you have to ensure that you understand that you have to make the 50% deposit by the required deadlines, the early bird, and both for the standard rate as well. And then this is also understanding the payment requirements. You just click there. And then acknowledging the balance due date, which is the 31st of March as well. You just click there and then you just agree to the enrollment requirements, and then you submit your application. Once your application is submitted, you will be sent an email to just let you know that it's been received and approved. Then thereafter you'll be sent a quote, of which after you need to make that 50% deposit following the deadlines. And then further communications will be sent to you thereafter. During the program, you meet different facilitators, of which these are some of just the facilitators you might interact with. We do have Sumuza Mnyangana, who is the co-founder and director of entrepreneurship and innovation at Bongo Hive. We have Francis Lombe, we have Momo, and we have Dora Siluizia, we have Mapalo Lukashi. All these are experts that facilitators that you get to meet as you go through your learning journey. Yes, so that is what I had for you. I will now open it up to questions. Yeah.
Hi, Cynthia. So far, we don't have any questions in the chat, but there was something from Sylvia. She missed something. I think she dropped off when you were talking about the amounts. Maybe you can just share that slide and talk about it more.
Okay. With regards to the price, is that the prices?
Yes.
This part. Okay. So we do have a price, the early bird special, which is a 50% discount of the standard price. So it's going at 3,500. If you want to secure the early bird special, you have to ensure that once you enroll, you'll be sent a quote. Once you're sent that quote, you make the 50% deposit of the 3,500 in order to secure it by the 6th of March. And then after the 6th of March, you'll be required to pay the standard rate because the 50%, in short, it's due on the 6th of March. After the 6th of March, you pay the 7,000 standard rate, of which you have to make the 50% deposit by the 13th of March for the standard rate. I don't know if that's clear enough. I can't see the chats from my end. Sylvia?
No, we don't anymore. Sylvia, just give us a thumbs up if that is clear enough.
Okay, but can you hear me clearly? Can I get some like thumbs for people that can hear me?
We have a question from Joshua. Is that an exemption from paying 7,000? Did you hear that one, Cynthia? Cynthia, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Cynthia. Joshua, were you able to hear that? Yes, Joshua, if you can hear me, so if you go for the early bird rate, it's a 50% discount from the 7,000. So once you go for the early bird rate, then you will not pay the 7,000. So if you choose early bird, that the 3,500 is what you're paying. So when you register or when you enroll, you fill out the form that Cynthia is just from showing you, then you pay a 50% deposit of the 3,500. Does that make sense, Joshua? All right.
No, were you able to
All
hear
right.
me?
Great. No, but now we can hear you. Is there anyone else who has got a question?
Do you have any further questions? Please feel free to ask. Just type in the chat and we'll be able to respond.
We have a question. Will you enroll again after the class yet to start? Jesse, maybe if you're able to unmute, you could just clarify that question. What do you mean enrolling again after the class yet to start?
Do you mean after the deadline?
Yes, Cynthia, after the deadline.
So enrollment, you have to ensure that you apply before the deadline, the application deadline, which is the 27th of February. Because after that, we won't be accepting applications. Maybe if I want to better understand where you're coming from, is it Is it? How often is Jess is still on you? Is it that you wouldn't be able to apply by the deadline? Is this where the question is coming from? Okay, as we wait for Jesse, there is another question. How often is the program done in a year? So the program, it's twice in a year. Twice in a year. This is our first one, and then we plan on doing another cohort. So we do have different cohort. This is actually our second cohort. Our first cohort was last year. And after this one, in relation to Mrs. question, can you hear me? So we do run different cohorts, yes. We had our first one last year, and this is our second one, and we plan on having another one even after this one.
Cynthia, there's another question. Are there guarantees after the completion of the course? Like you will ensure that once that's a viable business, product or service?
After the completion of the course of, I don't want to use guarantee, but you have opportunities. You have opportunities to actually meet the different experts. Like I mentioned, we do have an event at the end of the course where we bring in different experts from different industries that have applied these principles. So the goal of that is not just to bring them in the room, but also if you have it's also to strike a conversation between the people that are in the room and the people that are in the industry. So from there, we create that. We have also different events that bring in experts that help you identify people that might help you. It could be with your businesses, or if you need mentors and all those kinds of stuff. So we'll be able to. We can also link you to the mentors.
Maybe just to add on to what Cynthia has mentioned. So it's how you're going to apply the knowledge and the tools that we're going to give you during the program is what will now entail if at all you want to carry on with the business ideas that you come with. Remember, not everyone in the course is going to have a business. We have people who are just curious and would want to upskill themselves. They are also open, and from there, their idea that they will come up within this program, it's something that can be scalable. So there is no guarantee. It's up to you, the individual, as we're just here to give you the knowledge, the tools, the templates, and everything you need, as well as the guidance. Then it's up to you how you apply that knowledge to see if your business or your service is going to be upskilled. I hope that answers the question, Joshua. All right, thanks for that, Joshua. Do we have any more questions from anyone? We are left with 7 minutes. if there is any other feedback that you would want to share, that is very much welcome. All right. So in the meantime, as we are waiting for you to give us some feedback in the chat, some of the next steps, like Cynthia did mention that the close of applications will be on the 27th of February, 2026, and classes will commence mid-March, around 10th March. But before then, we're going to have a kickoff with all the students that are going to enroll in the course, just to introduce you to what is expected of you in detail. Cynthia did give us an overview of how the schedule looks like. And we will have a pre-kickoff session with all the interested participants that are going to enroll in the course. Then we will be expecting all payments to be cleared by 31st March. And that is during the course, before we actually do the certification ceremony. So those are just few of the next steps. And then people will be added to a WhatsApp group for those that are going to enroll, where we're going to be communicating once you submit your applications. The next steps will be shared with you on what to do next. And everything will be communicated in due course. So at this point, Cynthia, if there is nothing, there are no questions from the people, they will be hearing back from us with just an email, just explaining further what we have covered here today. And then we will be waiting to hear back from everyone. Cynthia, the floor is back to you.
Thank you so much, Doris. And I hope all the questions have been answered clearly. We will send through further details after the session, probably tomorrow, using events at Bongo Hive, where you received the emails with regards to the session. That's why we'll send the details. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining this session. I hope that we get to see most of you as we start the course. This is a very these are very important principles to actually have and master. They're very helpful in everything that we do, even how we apply our thinking, how we approach different areas of our professions, and overall just life. So yeah, we hope to see you, most of you, as we begin the course. Yeah, so we have 4 minutes more, but we have come to the end of our webinar. Yeah, thank you so much.